Guys, let me show you how I'm able to applique fabric on fabric using some really nice double-sided interfacing. The products that I'm going to be using today is the Pelon Wonder Under, which is this guy. But I also wanted to show you that there is another one that I highly recommend. It's called Heat and Bond Light, and these two are really qualitative double-sided fusibles that you possibly can find in any sewing store, any good sewing store around the world. I really recommend these, and they're so heavily used by all my clients, and I'll show you also why. It's all about the efficiency with which you can actually work with it and how nicely things just turn out if you follow the instructions, which is why it's very important for me to talk to you about this paper. Interfaces, they come with their own instruction guides on how to use, and while the process in which you're going to follow is going to be the same, what varies from one manufacturer to another is the ironing settings. So for Heat and Bond, they talk about 2 seconds, 6 seconds, 12 seconds, whereas for Pelon, it looks like it's around 10 to 15 seconds, 5 to 8 seconds, depending on the stage in which you're ironing. So it's very important that when you get these, you don't throw away these instructions. A lot of us don't care to read it, but please don't do that. Keep it, read it, and once you remember it, then you can move on with not reading it or keeping it anymore. All right, so I've got my fabric over here. I've been very deliberate in my selection. The one that has the letters going to be done on it, it has a definite wrong side. If you're working with solid fabrics or batiks, this doesn't have to be much of an issue. But yeah, I wanted to show you that. And the second thing, of course, these are my initials in the wrong way. It's AR. R. Like a pirate. Anyway, so the A, it doesn't have a mirror image, which means its mirror image is literally the same thing. Whereas the R, the mirror image is definitely different from the original. And this can make a very big impact on applique because you keep ironing and drawing on the right side and wrong side, and this kind of like plays a very big role in it. So I'm going to show you the first step. Now, as much as the instruction on Pelon says iron, so you look at this, it says iron then draw, because these are letters and they've got lots of holes in them. I find it easier to first draw, then iron, and then we cut. So let me start by drawing and showing you what to watch out in that department. So let's start with the easy one, the one that is got no mirror image. You see, straight, opposite, same thing. So what you're going to do is we're going to draw on the soft side. So this paper, I wish I could show you guys feeling, but there is a soft side and then there is a rough side. The rough side is obviously where the glue is. We don't draw on the glue side. We're going to draw on the soft side, and you want to draw mirror image. So just slide this paper underneath and literally just draw, because this one does not have a mirror image. Okay, simple. And am I being a very accurate drawer? Is that a word? No, because I am not accurate with a lot of the things that I do, but I like to call that creative license. So I've got my A, all right, and I'm going to keep that aside. And now I have the R. And here I got to be careful, and I have to draw the mirror image, which is this way. I can't see it right now, to be honest. So what you would do is ideally you would have a light box. I am going to wing this one a little bit. So I'm literally drawing on the paper first. Trying to see the line. There it is. So let's do that now. Guys, highly recommend a light box, okay, because that was just a little bit difficult to see. But because this tutorial is demonstrative, I'm not doing it for a project. I'm being a little bit chill with it, yeah. So I have the mirror image R, and I have that's a mirror image A, but you can't really tell. And it looks weird, but it's going to come together. The next step is we're going to be ironing the fusible onto the fabric, the target fabric. So let's go to the iron, and I'm going to talk to you about the settings before we get that done. If you read the paper, it says very clearly that you want to have the hot dry iron on when you're doing the first press. All right, so it's very important that you take your iron, set it on maximum, but then no steam. The fabric, as I said, has a definite right or a wrong side, so we're going to be placing the right side down, so we're exposing the wrong side up. And then we're going to take the paper and we're going to iron on the soft side so that the rough side, which has the sticky, is going to stick onto the wrong side of the fabric. All right. So like the instruction says, we're going to press and hold for 5 to 8 seconds, press and hold for 5 to 8 seconds, and then we're going to move on. We're not going to move the iron much. We're just going to hold for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift. Come to the next section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift. Come to the next section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you let it cool now. When you flip it over, it should look like it's got no bubbles or whatever. Right? Okay. Next is this. Remember, if there's any part of your stabilizer that's sticking out, you want to cut it. All right? I'm just going to fold it because I guess I don't need this part at all. Because you don't want the glue to stick onto the fabric of your iron board, guys. It's quite a pain to keep changing that with every applique that you do. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift. And next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So now this guy's cooled down and I can feel that it's really well stuck. And I'm going to let this guy also cool down. And the next step is going to be cutting this. So let's get a nice pair of shears and let us cut out our alphabets. Okay, cutting time. All right, so basically, we're going to cut. I like to cut a lot of the excess out first. Okay, now I'm going to spend some time cutting along the lines on this one, and I'll come back to you guys. And I'm going to do the same to this one, and I'm going to come back to you guys, all right? So just give me a few moments, and I will show you my cutout letters. So I finished cutting it, and also the next day, guys, I know you can notice that my nails look very different, but I had a lot of interruptions yesterday, so I had to like stop filming. Anyway, so I finished cutting it, and this is where you realize that it's so important to know the orientation of drawing the mirror image onto the soft side of the paper so that when you flip it over, it looks, you know, exactly the way you want it, right? So what we're going to do now before we iron it onto the fabric, so we're going to, of course, applique, right? Now, this is a temporary applique paper, which basically means once we fuse the fabric to fabric, you wash it, it's going to come out. If you want something more permanent, I recommend the Ultra Hold. But what most of us like to do is we will fuse and iron, and then we're going to stitch and secure, so then we can always wash it later and it stays forever. So at this point, all I got to do is, because it's already ironed on and cut, I literally have to peel the paper out. And what I will notice is that there is, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can totally feel it, that there is like glue that has transferred onto the wrong side of the fabric. And when you feel this paper now, it's soft on both sides because there's no more glue on it. So same thing for the other one is I just peel out the paper. And there we go. So now it's just the last part of us ironing this on. And then we are done sort of showing you the application of a double-sided lightweight fusible like Pellon Wonder Under or Heat and Bond Light. So place the applique where I wanted to place it, and I'm just going to put the iron on for like 10 to 15 seconds. It's back on maximum heat, no steam. And then switch over to the other guy, who's leaving it for 15 seconds. Okay, and there we go. It is temporarily fused. Like I said, you wash it, it's not going to adhere, it's going to come out. So we're going to now take this to a machine, and you probably do a blanket stitch or a satin stitch or a zigzag stitch, anything that would hold your applique down. I really hope you guys found this useful. This demonstration this demonstration useful. I wanted to say that they talked about putting a damp press cloth, but I don't have one, and putting the iron straight on it at a hot enough setting actually worked pretty well. So here we go. That is your demo for how to do applique of two interesting shapes. So you can see a mirror and a non-mirror image using a light fusible double-sided interfacing. Oh, and if you'd like to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe and like the videos, send some comments on what you'd like to see next, and we shall make it happen. Cheers, guys.